Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Open Jars, No Lids, No Limits, where we're talking about different thing and different stuff with Kin.
Hi, Arek. I'm happy to be back on this podcast again. How are you doing?
I am doing really good. I'm doing really good. Thank you so much. Summer has been fantastic, and enjoying a little bit of the sun, enjoying the beautiful people around me. So I am very happy and very excited, and especially excited for the conversation with you. So it's always a great pleasure for me. Kin, why don't we say a few words maybe about us?
Yes, of course. Again, I'm Kin. I'm from Canada. Excited to be recording this podcast with Arek, and I know you're in Europe, but I come from 30 years of manufacturing operations, working with a lot of people around the world, pretty much. And Arek, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the pond, your fellow Eastern European, 20 years in the market, working with some other distributors, other EMSs, and excited to have this podcast with Ken.
Arek, we had a conversation earlier about how you're starting some exciting work in your consulting and sales roles. And I remember you were talking about how you're actually starting to do some work in various different countries around Europe. I mean, that sounds really exciting. In our last couple of episodes, we were talking about utilizing AI tools in manufacturing and showcasing some of that. In terms of what you do, have you been leveraging some AI tools to help you in some of your new endeavors?
Oh yeah, of course. This is very exciting for me because, of course, it's a new land of opportunities, but also, working my last 20 years in Eastern Europe, 16 different countries, 13 different languages. Yeah, that has been always an issue. And, you can only learn so many languages and trying to understand the different cultures as well. And AI is definitely helping out here. The way I have been always approaching business is you want to be global, but you want to be visible as local. So how do you do that? If you're not speaking the language, if you don't have the right tools, and AI can really help here. So there are a lot of really nice tools that we've been using now, for example, on the marketing activity, that can help you translate videos very quickly in the right pace with the whole understanding of the discussions. Really like utilizing those tools, creating also content for on some of the social media, but also the marketing approach for the customers so that they really see that we are approaching them in a local way. So definitely we're utilizing AI here. And I'm excited to talk about this with you because I remember the case when I told you I was back in the other country and my contact over there was not speaking my language. I was not speaking his language. And I started using Google Translate. It was only like I would say something, then I would translate it, show it to him and everything. And then you blew my mind with showing completely different features on the same platform. So maybe you can tell the people, how did you come up with this one?
Yes, my experience with Google Translate, like you, there's always a little bit of a barrier because as we work with other people that speak native languages, the language is one thing to communicate the context of the business, but the biggest challenge in doing business with other foreign countries is also to really understand the culture. And one of the things that I've noticed recently is Google Translate has really stepped up because Google has now merged the capabilities of Gemini into their Google Translate tool to make the translations a bit more contextual in terms of capturing the culture and the language. We played a little bit with this earlier on, and maybe we might showcase this in a future episode. But I think using Google Translate not only to translate the words, because a lot of languages have different contexts that have very different meanings once you translate. Have you noticed the contextual aspect, really kind of aligning with the actual cultural context, of the different languages that you work with?
Yeah, well, the problem I have here again is I'm still not sure if it's the case of Eastern Europe or the device, as I'm using the iPhone and do not have such an advanced options as you do at the moment. So note to people that are listening us, also check your Android friends and see how Google Translates work for them. But yeah, he's really utilizing the context of the culture and all the differences. But not only that, I had a case quite recently where we were translating a document, and I was trying to use your translation, but you would use the AI so that it can briefly, quickly do those translations for you. And then you really want to tweak it so that you know it's a little bit more natural. But then if you throw it directly on Google Translate, it's not keeping the same format or the same links that you might have in the doc. Where if you do that, for example, directly in the workspace, it will keep everything, and you can quickly find the solution for you, fully translated into your language. Of course, as I said, you need to do those little tweaks, but it speeds up the process very much. So again, for someone that is working in a multicultural space with different countries, different languages, AI has been really a magnificent tool to translate, to show the content in the local languages. Like, we spoke previously about the notebook LM and how it is translating the data for other people to understand what we're talking about. And now Google Translate and all the LLMs are really utilized in a way to translate into different languages for us, that can all speak on the same platforms.
Yeah, the context and content, translation is a very important aspect. Now, beyond the Google tools that we've been familiar with, like Gemini and Notebook LM,
Yes.
I know you've been working with some of the other tools as well. I mean, even this very tool we're using to record the podcast seems to have some very good AI translation capabilities. Can you share your experience about some of these other tools to really kind of provide that multilingual customer engagement aspect?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember my first ride as a content creator. I can tell you, recording has never been a problem. Of course, you would have to stay and edit the whole thing, and it will take you a lot of time, and then posting and checking and everything. So, recording was only that kind of effort. And then the whole rest of editing was 5, 10 times bigger. Now, with the tool that we are using, it's the other way around. We're recording, and then we quickly have support of AI to deliver real good quality content over here. So yeah, we're using the tool, and that is called Riverside, for anyone that would like to also step into the world. I'm highly appreciating this tool, and we can say this has been helping us along the way. And then in terms of creating the content into different languages and also utilizing this on marketing, I definitely need to say the hygiene for me has been something that I've learned along the way through Sabrina Romanov's videos. And this has been really a game changer for me in producing the local videos. And you guys will see a little bit more coming from me later, but I'm telling you, there will be plenty, and there is a big AI behind that. And also Canva has been something that you quickly throw things and you translate this, and you are able to utilize it. So yeah, definitely, if you want to be visible as local and you do not have that much resources, and you don't want to spend a lot of your time, these are the three that I will definitely recommend. But and you can say the same thing, right?
I'm very deeply invested into the Google system. I'm also keeping an eye out to watch where OpenAI is working, because they are also one of the leaders in this space in terms of having very capable LLMs. OpenAI recently did some upgrades to their ChatGPT with their new model, which seems to be very capable. I'm very passionate about the research and the tools, as everyone knows, and always keep an eye out. I mean, I can kind of just sense where Google and OpenAI are going with their AI tools. In terms of some of the tools that you've been working with, Arek, where do you see the future of AI coming in terms of how that might affect our work? Where do you see ourselves in about 2 or 3 years from now?
I think a lot of the content will be generated by just writing a script or by just having an idea. And on one side, it's good because then we can populate a little bit more. My question is, where's the authenticity? And also on the videos that are being generated, is it China that are considering putting the mark of, generated by AI? And I'm kind of thinking about that as well, that maybe, at some point of time, you will not really be able to distinguish the reality from what has been generated. And if these are the videos that you're learning from, that's okay. But if there's something a little bit more, let's say, deeply touching your life, then it's a little bit scary. So I would say, yeah, a lot of our work will go this way and will be easier, and we'll be able to really create a lot ourselves without having huge teams and support on this side. But I also want to say it will speed up the things that we can do, and it has been working well. And I believe the tweaks that we are doing right now will most likely be even smaller and smaller and smaller. Of course, there will be always a need for a human to really check it, but I would say we're going in this kind of direction where a lot of those tools will take over 99% of the work.
I agree. I think the AI tool for me is certainly speeding up and making things easier. But with
Mhm.
everything that's generated from AI, and we use AI tools a lot in even our social media posts. I'm very aware of what I call the M dash problem. Every AI generated piece of text has some sort of M dash in it. For those of you who
Mhm.
don't know, this is typically the very long dash that you see in some of the sentence structure. And it is
Mhm.
one of the signatures that AI tends to always put in as a mark of, hey, this is AI generated. So, if you're creating a email like we talked about in one of our past episodes, using AI,
Mhm.
go through that email and just put in your personal flair or twist to it so that it makes it look like a human actually looked at it. I think using these AI tools for me is more about not just leaving it to the tool to generate
Mhm.
and post, but
Yeah.
rather use the tool to get the idea, get the context, get the structure,
Yeah.
get you 80%, 90% of the way there. And you put in that 10% effort to put that personal touch to it. I've seen some of your fantastic work on whether it's HeyGen or Canva, and really kind of just putting that little personal touch and not just leaving it all to AI. Going into the future, I'm very excited about the prospect of being able to do a whole lot more with less resources. Using these AI tools would just make our lives easier as professionals. But we just got to learn how to use the tool in a best way because the tool is evolving very quickly.
I think together with the tool, our creativity is also evolving because, you said about some of the work, and I remember myself, I could never draw, never in my life. And it was never something I would be able to do. And I thought I will never be able to create something out of that. But thanks to these tools, and this is something I really love doing and really love utilizing the creativity on this side. So I guess that the home run that you mentioned, this 10% that we'll take it's really going to elevate our work.
I recently read a very good interview with one of the AI experts who's considered one of the grandfathers of AI. And he really puts it in a good way that AI is going to take over a lot of the things that we do, but certainly creativity and empathy are the two things that you really have to leave to the human. And having creativity, as you mentioned, but empathy and understanding, why am I writing this? Who am I writing this for? And why do I want my target audience to listen, to read what I'm saying? I think that's very, very important. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode. Arik, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you for sharing your insights about how to use some of these AI tools in everyday business.
Thank you very much, Ken. I appreciate the conversation as always. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. So please subscribe to our podcasts on our different platforms, Spotify or YouTube. Drop us a comment and share your thoughts about how AI tools might be helping you or why we shouldn't be using some AI tools in our daily work. We would love to hear from you guys. So with that, we're signing off. Thank you very much and see you in the next episode.
Thank you. Bye bye.